Hey, what's up, everyone? Make sure everything's up and running. I'm a little bit more prepared today than I normally am, assuming my computer runs at average speed or at least decent speed, and it does, thank goodness. So now I can keep up a chat. I have it up and ready already, which normally takes me like 2 minutes into the video for everything to start working. Um, Thank you all for being here. As you can tell, I'm a little sick still. I was yesterday when we did the Transformers end of the year live stream. I could feel a tickle in my throat. I'm like, it's gonna get worse. I know it, but I was trying to battle it off. I've already gone through. Look how much NyQuil I've gone through in just like 48 hours. And still worked a full like 8 hour day yesterday. And we, because at Lego we had a prep. We have a lot of stuff that came out today. And oh wow, already 2 thumbs up. Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone who's here. Um, with Lego, we have to put out all the new product. We released over 100 new Lego sets. What's up, Swordsman? How are you, sir? Happy New Year to you. Hope your holidays were awesome. Um, and so we had to put out over like 100 new Lego sets last night for today's launch. And one of those was a Venom set, actually, which was really cool. I had no idea this one was coming because we did that last Venom. It was like the big build Venom that we did for Lego. But this one's like a smaller mech, and it's like for younger kids. And you build that, and it comes with Spider-Man, and I think Spider-Man Noir is in that set too. So I might pick that up. As a Lego employee, I can't buy stuff the day they come out. Obviously, customers come first and guests come first. So I have to wait probably a couple weeks until we start getting them on the regular before I could buy one. So I'll probably at least talk about it in a video coming up at some point, or I'll do like a speed build, or I'll figure out something. Maybe we'll review a comic while building it, so that way we're doing more for the comic review, and that'll just give me like an activity to do in the video. Um, Happy New Year's, Swordsman says. Happy New Year, Rohit. How's it going, dude? All the way from India. Thank you for being here, dude. The holidays were awesome. I hope they were great for you as well. I did actually. I got to do something on Christmas Eve and stuff that was just really, really awesome. Got to spend time with my friend and his family, and they were nice enough to invite me over. And and my friend, he works like in entertainment and stuff, so we got to like nerd out and talk about things and remind each other, I think, why like we love storytelling so much and why we love comics and movies so much. So that was kind of fun because I was like, wow, that was a gift I didn't know I needed, and yet it was as simple as a conversation, but it was a great one because we got to talk about a lot of cool ideas and stuff. So yeah, it was a very nice time. Thank you for asking. Mr. My holidays were good too, sir. Oh, that's good to hear. And Venom Gaming, hello. Venom Gaming actually gave us the first bit of little news we'll talk about. I mean, I wouldn't say like normally I would have probably made a video out of this, but it's kind of small, and plus it's something I would say we could have easily guessed. But it never popped in my head to think about it. But People Magazine or People.com, Venom Panhead Gaming or Venom Gaming on Twitter, and Venom Gaming. If you wanna put a link to your Twitter down below, I mean in the comments, feel free to, so everyone can check you out. Um, he sent me this link about Michelle Williams is pregnant apparently, and engaged to Hamilton director Thomas Kail, and they talk about how he's 42 and she's 39, and she has a 14-year-old daughter named Matilda who she had with Heath Ledger before he passed, obviously. um, and she was seen in Kensington in London where she's filming Venom 2. She was seen shopping for baby clothes, so it looks like she could potentially be pregnant, and now engaged to this guy. So good for them if this is all true. Like this, that's great. I mean, speculation. You never really know when people are guessing on stuff. But I think it was Liv Tyler on the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk movie that she made with Edward Norton. I believe she was pregnant during that movie, and they talked about like in the commentary like some of the things they did to filming wise to not show her, without making her look pregnant and stuff because the character wasn't pregnant. So the stuff they had to like, work around and stuff because obviously when they hired her and cast her, I don't think she was pregnant. But she was starting to show when they filmed the movie. And so that was kind of neat because it's just something you don't think about. You're like, oh yeah, these. I mean, obviously these people are people and they have lives and they fall in love and they have families and stuff. But when you're filming a movie, you're like, oh man, I think Mila Jovovich even like I know I'm not a big fan of the Res Evil films. By the way, 5 people, 5 thumbs up. Thank you so much for that 100% ratio. That is very nice of you. I think it was Mila Jovovich who had her child and then immediately went and started filming another Res Evil movie and had to get back into training and kickboxing and all these things. And it's like, wow, like, yeah. these a lot of kick-ass people out there. Oh, you're welcome. Hey, Lonely, what's up? How's it going? Happy New Year. Um, excuse me. Give me a second sometimes because my throat is still killing me, and you could probably hear me congested. Like it hit me bad yesterday morning before I was going to work, and you heard it a little bit in my video yesterday. But by the time I got to work and started working, and my body wasn't resting, I just got worse and worse and worse. It was so much. So yeah, so I wanted to talk about this little piece of news. Like I said, normally I probably would have made a video on it, but the main news from it, I guess, is that this confirms that she's in London filming Venom 2, which again, we could have all kind of probably figured that out and guessed that. But still, like, this is confirmation showing her, out and about doing stuff on her days off, and that she's in London, obviously, for filming for Venom 2. So I wanted to bring that up, and I want to give Venom Gaming a shout out for that. Am I a fan of Batman the Dark Victory comic? Oh yeah, is that the retelling of Robin's origin? I like Robin Year One. That's a pretty good book, but yeah, that's a good one too. Um, and is Nightfall my favorite from Nightfall didn't come out in 2019, so I would say no, it's not my favorite from 2019. Unless you're talking about the multiverse book. But again, this is Venom. This is a Venom vlog episode, so I'm going to try to keep pulling it back to Venom. The next bit of stuff I want to talk about, and if you guys have any comments about Michelle Williams stuff, you can leave that down below. But like I said, it's mostly just, she's in love with someone apparently, and they're having a kid and they're engaged, so that's very nice for her. And she's in London filming Venom 2, which, like I said, we probably could have figured out, but no one really just came out and said it. so yeah, it makes sense. Let's see. We also have this comic book. So I wasn't going to buy this originally because it's a $10 Marvel comic, and usually those are a waste of time. And they're still a waste of time. Actually, I didn't like this book at all. It's like a murder mystery. I might spoil some stuff here, but basically it's also a preview. So I understand its purpose. Its purpose is to kind of show you where some of the major characters that are going to maybe be involved in a story or maybe not, or have their own big stories coming up. It's showing where they are currently in the Marvel universe. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. That's just like a kind of like a previews book. But then they tie in this like murder mystery to it. So like the book kind of is bookended, and it has a few pages sprinkled throughout where they find a dead body. Like some superheroes, I think it was like Elektra, finds a guy standing over a dead body, and that guy is someone who popped up a couple months ago in something, and they never really did anything with him. I can't remember his stupid name. Masked Rider, this guy. He's got like the cosmic mask on his face. And but yet he just walks around like Mr. X style with a trench coat and a hat. And he comes across this dead body, and in that issue, he's like trying to figure out maybe who did it. But I guess he can't see, even with his cosmic powers, so that leads him into an interaction with Elektra, and then from there, Matt Murdock, Daredevil, and then Daredevil's like, I'm not really a hero anymore, so I'll call Jessica Jones, and then Jessica Jones sees something that, kind of references Captain Marvel, so she's like, let me call Captain Marvel in on this, and it kind of brings in all these people, and it ends up with like Reed Richards, and I'm blanking on her name, but there was like a character that they were using with him, and the two of them were studying the body, and they're trying to figure out, what happened to her and stuff. And I don't know, it's it's a neat concept, but like all neat concepts with Marvel, it's just kind of messy and all over the place, and it gets interrupted from times where they're like, all right, we got to set up, a little bit of Iron Man 2020, which I'm actually excited to read about. Arno Stark. When I was a kid, that book, Machine Man, came out by Barry Windsor Smith. I think he did the artwork, and I think it was him that did the artwork, who did Weapon X, and I love that book. Like, that book's so awesome. So when I heard they were doing, Iron Man 2020 for the year 2020, I was like, all right. So I went to my local comic shop, and I added all those books to my pull list. So probably on Seek and Destroy, you'll probably see me do a review of that event when it's all done. Swordsman says, never heard of him. Never heard of who? Who was I just talking about? Masked Rider. Yeah, no, he popped up in like a Marvel book a few months ago, and really, who cares? Like, I mean, he's just he's like all these, every time like these guys sit down, like Marvel, DC, whenever they sit down, they're like, we need, we need to bring in Pandora and she's going to set up something big, or we need to bring in, who's that chick from New 52? They're like, we're going to bring her in and she's going to set up all this stuff. And they really never did anything with her. And then she just died. Like, they're like, whatever, we don't have, she's a loose thread. We never did anything with her. Let's just kill her. That's how this guy feels. I'm just like, he's just a setup for 2 pages to bring in all the other superheroes that we do know. And then you're just like, okay, who cares about him now? But I bought this book because someone told me Ghost Rider was in it, and it was from the team that does the monthly Ghost Rider book, Ed Brisson and Aaron Cooter. So I was like, oh, okay. So I picked it up, and I was here thinking like, oh, maybe we'll see Danny Ketch, because I'm like, I have to own every book Danny Ketch is in. Now that I've completed the collection, anytime something new comes out with him in it, I'm like, crap, he was in a panel in that book, I gotta go get it. So I bought it for that reason, and then here it's Johnny Blaze. I'm like, oh, there's no Dan Ketch in this at all. So yeah, I should have flipped through it at the comic store, but I was like, it's such a thick book. I was like, screw it. I'll roll the dice. Either way, I can add it to my Ghost Rider collection. But it did have some Venom pages in here. So we'll talk about the Ghost Rider pages on the Ghost Rider show. But this one had some Venom pages in it. So I was like, trying to avoid Venom stuff. End up getting pulled right back in. I did not buy Venom Island. I haven't read it. I haven't read any reviews of it. I just saw the 3 preview pages. And I'm like, yeah. And then I saw Donnie Cates on Twitter saying that the next issue is like the craziest issue he's ever written. And it's going to change Eddie Brock forever. And I'm just like, I don't care. I feel like every idea he has happened before. It's like, all right, Venom has now absorbed the Carnage symbiote. Okay, well, that's happened before. And Carnage didn't speak in Eddie's head, but now he does. And so, he has like Carnage's voice whispering in his head. And I'm just like, okay, well, wouldn't he have the codices of all the other symbiotes in his head too? Like, wouldn't he hear more than just Carnage? Maybe that's going to happen. Maybe that's going to build throughout the story or whatever. But still, either way, I'm like, yeah, a lot of this stuff has happened before. But I feel like it's just him going, hey, this happened before. Let's do it again. And then I'll just put my little twist on it. And it's like, so I don't know. I find it boring. And this was kind of boring too. It was like this planet, and they're like praying, and they're saying like the end is coming. It's called this planet called Fallow, and Null wakes up, and as he's heading towards Earth, I guess, he passes this planet and completely obliterates it. And I'm just like, yeah, but there's Guardians of the Galaxy, there's Thor, there's all these elements, the Shi'ar Empire, there's all these things out in space. And I know space is a big place. We don't know exactly where, the trajectory, and that's the other thing, geography-wise. We're like, wouldn't it be cool if we had like, if they had like a panel or someone drew something of like Null moving away from Clintar and all the planets he'll cross before he hits Earth? When that would have been kind of a neat thing. That way we can all anticipate, like, oh, wow, he's going to, this planet next, or he's going here next, or, people who don't know, they could be like, oh, let me Google that planet and see who's on that planet. Oh, that's the planet of Groots. Okay, that's great. We can't wait to see what happens there. So it would have been neat to see something like that, or see a planet that was like, that got avoided being eaten by Galactus. And then now they see, and they're like, oh, Galactus didn't eat us. Thankfully, the Silver Surfer turned on him or whatever, and we got spared, and now we live in this age of prosperity. And then, boom, you have Null coming and wiping out the planet. And they're like, what the, like, we only thought Galactus ate planets. Yeah, to me, this just was boring. And then it set up, of course, Dylan being like this omnipotent being who has all this power, who's just going to be a MacGuffin, and he's got every answer we need. It's going to come from Dylan, and he's just going to be the shortcut in Donny Cates' storytelling. I feel to just, we need something to happen here. Dylan will do it. It's like, okay, whatever. I feel like that's what's going to happen. And so now Dylan apparently knows that Null is coming. So now that's not exclusive information just to Eddie anymore. So I'm like, that's a cool twist, and maybe that's why in those preview pages they showed Dylan kind of upset with Eddie. And I was like, where does that come from? Maybe it comes from this. So, maybe a little bit there. That's worth the overall story. But for me, I'm just like, whatever. I was like, we'll talk about it on a live stream, but I didn't want to make like an episode on it because I'm not really excited. And Null, he doesn't come across as scary to me. Like, he just doesn't. Like these scenes here where he's like, I love Ryan Stegman's artwork, but this scene here where he's just like, I don't know, this big grin on his face. I'm like, I'm not afraid of this guy. It's not like when Doomsday was like punching through the steel for like, 6 issues, and then he shows up, you're like, what is this? Like, what is Doomsday? And that kind of terrified you. And it's like, Doomsday's coming to kill Superman. You're like, what? Kill Superman? Like, he's the most powerful dude in the world, So It wasn't like that. Didn't give me any sense of dread, but maybe it did for some of you guys. So if so, let me know. Karn guessed the plot of Venom Island on Twitter. I'm only keeping up with the story through chat there. Oh, did he? Karn did. So what was his guess on the plot of Venom Island? I guess it's Eddie. I guess he refused to be an Avenger, and now he's just going to Venom Island. I don't know. I don't know why. I saw him get in a limo, and then it took off, and that was the end of the preview pages. But whatever. Georgie, what's up, dude? Happy New Year. Hi, Happy New Year. And I apologize if I did not show up that much. It's just that I was busy with life, and hopefully you understand that. Oh, of course, dude. Anytime you guys can't be here, it's fine. I mean, look at me. Sometimes I go through periods where I can't make videos. So yeah, of course, life, I understand completely, man. No problem. Thank you for being here today, and Happy New Year to you too. Carnage is good at incorporating symbiote bits into itself. It's highly implied it absorbed the Grendel and AC. I also can't really complain since Donnie did more to make Eddie join the Avengers than Savage Avengers. I agree on incoming though. Thanks for saving me money. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, because in Savage Avengers it was just the suit. I actually ran into Jerry Duggan. I see him from time to time because he's actually a Lego fan, and I'll talk. I kind of mentioned the other day about that, and I think there's a plan. I don't want to spoil anything, obviously, but there's plans for Venom, I think, in his Savage Avengers run. But yeah, he mostly focused on the symbiote, and that was mostly a setup. But I think the payoff to that setup is finally coming soon. So yeah, I was kind of told to keep my eyes peeled. So I'll keep reading Savage Avengers. If you want to wait until my reviews of them or discussions of them, you feel free to, and maybe we'll talk about Venom again through that team at some point. But yeah, that first one, as you know, in my review, I was like, yeah, I know Jerry, but I'm still going to be honest. Like the Venom stuff didn't work for me. The other characters, I kind of was like, all right, I'm digging on these other characters, but the Venom stuff, I'm like, what's the point? Why was it here? And apparently we might get that answer soon. So I'm not a big fan of that technique. It's like, explain why now, and then dribble things out or build on that. Like this mystery thing of like, oh, I just won't tell you on purpose to build a mystery. It's like, well, if it's not a good mystery, I may not stick around. That's the risk you run. So for me, because I like Jerry, I'm going to stick with the book for now, and also to see how it pays off. So maybe we'll do a discussion video on that story when it happens. But yeah, I think that's Donnie's answer to things is like the Grendel. Okay, now that Carnage has absorbed the Grendel and he's part of that, that gives him new abilities, and that gives Venom new abilities. That's where all these things, these new ideas and concepts come from. So I understand there's a foundation and reason why he does these things. So I get that, but even in understanding it doesn't make me like it really anymore. Georgie says, speaking of Michelle Williams, I heard that she was buying baby clothes or something like that. What if that happens in Venom 2 or just a weird coincidence? No, she's buying baby clothes because she's engaged to this guy who was the director of Hamilton. So yeah, we just talked about that a few minutes ago because that story came from Venom Gaming. Yeah, she's Thomas Kale is the guy's name, and so she's, I guess, potentially pregnant with his. I don't know if there's any confirmation on that or they're just speculating, but it seems like she might be pregnant with his child and that they're engaged. So she's shopping for personal shopping. I don't think she's gonna be pregnant and weighing. I think it's funny because I see a lot of people, they immediately, because they're reading Donny Cates' stuff, and Donny Cates' run has kind of been the most Venom they've read ever. Like maybe some people have read Venom before and know of Venom, but Donny Cates is the run that they're locked into. They're just like, oh, is she pregnant? Does that mean we're gonna get a Dylan set up? And oh, there's a dog. Does that mean we're gonna get the symbiote dog? It's like, well, there was a symbiote dog in the first movie, technically. So it's like, no, do they pull from the comics? Sure. Are they going to pull from current stuff? Maybe, but I don't know. Like, I don't see them making Null their big threat. But then again, they do need a big threat if they're going to build like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So in that case, Null maybe. And I think we might even see Null. I don't know for sure, but I think Donny Cates came in and co-wrote some of the outlines and episodes for the new Venom, Maximum Venom cartoon. And that is about symbiotes coming to Earth and like taking over. So I'm wondering if they're going to do Null in that, and maybe that'll get Null's name out there beyond the comics into like people who watch the cartoons' minds, and then those kids tell it to their parents, and then Null's name becomes a little bit more familiar to people, and then they could build towards Null. But to me, I feel like they're they're going to build towards Spider-Man. Like and maybe Spider-Man is going to be attached to a Carnage story with Null. Who knows? You never know with these things. So, but it's funny when people speculate, they immediately speculate Donny Cates stuff, and I'm like, well, there's still 30 years of Venom history before Donny Cates that they're going to pull from, probably first and foremost. Because if you follow the Marvel stuff, they don't pull from a lot of current comics. Because comics are happening all the time and ideas are happening all the time. They don't pull from current stuff a lot. They tend to pull from a lot of the old school stuff, and then sometimes like Civil War. But even that's like a 15-year-old story now, so or 13 or whatever year old story now. So even then, it's like it's not that current. So Venom. No, I think that, or Georgie, I think that's not a weird coincidence. I think she's just pregnant. They got to film a movie with her, and on her day off, she went and is buying baby clothes or looking at baby clothes. Rohit says, tell me about your favorite Flash comics. Yeah, we'll have to do that. You're talking about Flash Thompson? Because again, the DC stuff, this is a Venom vlog episode, so I'm trying to keep it towards Venom. So we'll talk about that on a DC episode at some point. He guessed that Carnage was in Eddie's head, and the island story is going to be him dealing with that. Oh, gotcha. I mean, that's a good guess then, because I was confused about. I didn't guess too much on it, what the story was going to be, because they released those variant covers, and on the variant covers they showed different types of, chimpanzees and orangutans and like different monkeys that were had symbiotes on them, and they were attacking certain heroes, and that really confused me. I was like, wait, what? Like, it's an island of symbiotes? Is that what this? So, and then I originally thought it was going to be a flashback storyline, because I was like, oh, and typically when you finish a big event, you might want to go back and do a story that has flashbacks. And so I'm sure the book might have some flashbacks, because it's going to be Eddie on this island. And remember, he spent a lot of time there. He spent a couple months there, not knowing Spider-Man was still alive. He fought Darkhawk. I kind of combined all those words there. He fought Darkhawk on that island, and ran into some cartel guys. But otherwise, he was pretty peaceful on that island. So that, I think, is a good idea, is to expand on that time. Like, if you're adding to a character's mythology, that's a perfect time, because Eddie, we don't really know everything Eddie did there. So it is a good storyline to kind of focus on. But to have the Carnage thing in his head, I'm like, well, whatever. Like, I think that's him adding something that I think it is going to work against the storyline. I mean, we'll see. I mean, you guys will see. I won't see. What I'm going to do with Venom books from now on is, like I said, when they come out and trade, once they go on sale on Comixology, I'll buy them then, and then we'll do discussion videos, because then I won't be afraid of spoilers. Those reviews that we were doing for Absolute Carnage, those drove me nuts, because I'm like, what do I say? I'm more of a discussion guy, and I go beat by beat through the storyline, so I'm not really a reviewer. Reviewers are better with their words on how they construct criticism, and I'm just not that type of person. So I was kind of like, the reviews were tough for me to get through. I can do a review here and there, but to do them weekly like that, I'm just like, yeah, that's why I'm not a review channel. So I'll wait until they come out on sale on Comixology, and I'll buy them at that time, and we'll cover them, at that time. And plus, those will come out probably closer to the second movie, so that'll give me more Carnage stuff to talk about when the movie comes out, which will be good, because we're kind of running out of Carnage stories to talk about on my show, or on the show. Morbius trailer this month. Jared Leto lives in a society as a vampire. yeah. Morbius, I'm sure we're going to get that trailer soon. The Venom trailer, I'm sure we'll get a teaser at some point. Probably around, I'm thinking March maybe. I'm going to go to WonderCon, and I'm hoping they do something at WonderCon, because Sony has done stuff with Resident Evil at WonderCon before. Last time they didn't do anything at WonderCon for Venom, and I think that was just because of timing. This time I feel like timing could line up. But then there's other events like in February and stuff that they could do stuff at that they did last time as well. So we'll see. But I'll keep an eye out for that stuff. But the Morbius trailer, I will definitely do a trailer reaction on the main Venom vlog show. I'll do a trailer reaction to Morbius. Excited for vampire stuff coming out this year. Amen, Lonely. Spider-Man is null confirmed. That's my favorite thing. Where's Barry does that all the time, where people will confirm Resident Evil news when there's no confirmation at all. And so, yeah, that's always cracks me up, where people are like, it's, so-and-so confirmed. I saw, what was it? Someone said, there's some YouTube channel, something awesome, I can't remember, and they said, they put in their video title, I didn't watch the video because screw them, I'm not giving them the click, but their video said Tom Holland Spider-Man confirmed in Venom 2, and I'm like, I'm like, is it most likely to happen? Sure. But what pisses me off is that someone will make a video and they'll go, confirmed. I have my sources. I have this. When really they're just making an educated guess. Yes, is Spider-Man most likely going to make a cameo in Venom 2? Yes, most likely. I would say it's a 90% chance. So someone else out there knows it's a 90% chance and they're like, screw it. I'll make this video and I'll just commit to it and say, yes, Venom or Spider-Man is in Venom 2. And then the movie will come out and they'll go, see, I'm right. And then they'll say that adds to their legitimacy. They'll like, see, my sources are right. These are the same. And then they'll start making up stuff for the next movie. And they'll go, my sources who told me that the Spider-Man was in Venom 2, they also told me this. And now you guys got to believe me. And I hate YouTubers so much. I tell my mom I'm a drug dealer. I don't, I can't, I don't tell her I do YouTube anymore. Yeah, no, there's I hate that. I hate YouTubers. The egos, the drama, the bullcrap with them. That's why the other people I watch on YouTube, I notice that they're kind of like me. They're like Brian at TF Fan Page or Raging Nation. You know, and even some of the Comicsgate guys I watch, or and some of the non-Comicsgate people I watch, like even them, they just have like a more mellow style. Like I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. I want background noise, and I want, you know, while I'm working on stuff, and that's it. Like so I am very picky on who I listen to on a daily basis. And so when I see like click titles like that, I'm just like if someone makes like the 15th video on Rise of Skywalker failing, I'm like, all right, unsubscribe. Because it's like at some point I'm like, you got to move on. Like, okay, you hate the movie and you hate, you know, Disney for making Star Wars or ruining Star Wars or whatever. Like, I get it. You've already made that clear, but this is your 15th video in a row. Like every day you make a video on how much money Rise of Skywalker isn't making. And it's like, you need a different kind of life. Like you need to really, that's not healthy, you know, in my opinion. So sometimes I'll just unsubscribe to people. I'm like, all right, your hate has won, and now I can't watch you anymore. Will Anti-Venom appear in Venom 2? That would be great, but I don't know. We would need the Alchemex Corporation, and I think it'd be too soon to bring in another corporation after Life Foundation. You could kind of set that up with, especially bringing Spider-Man in and the Spider-Verse and stuff. Like you could totally set that up, but I would say you would need one whole movie to do it. Like maybe if they capture Cletus Cassidy in this movie, and I doubt they'll be able to separate his symbiote from him, because in the comics, at least, the symbiote is mixed with his blood. And if they want to make a different kind of villain for this movie, I think they should stick with that, where the you know, the symbiote is mixed to his blood and he can't really separate from it without it really hurting him. Or maybe that's what happens. Maybe they rip the symbiote from him and he goes comatose at the end, and so that way he's still alive and they can use him for a sequel, but he's like brain dead or something, and only when the suit comes back to him can it, you know, revitalize him. And then while the suit's ripped away, it could be under the, you know, maybe some new corporation came in and bought the Life Foundation and they changed their name to Alchemex. And then you could set up Alchemex for future movies. And then you could bring in Anti-Venom that way. Because otherwise you're going to do Mr. Negative. And I feel like that's not a route they're probably going to go. Although I'd like to see that. I'd love to see Mr. Negative in a movie. I also mentioned that at one point. I said, you know, the villain for the second movie, if you want to build towards Carnage for the third movie, should have been Mr. Negative, or I would have put Mr. Negative maybe in the first Venom movie and not done other symbiotes or something. But then that way you could have had him touch Eddie Brock and invert his colors or something temporarily. So I don't know. We'll see. So you could either go the Mr. Negative route and make him like a henchman for someone with power, you know, he has powers, or you could build Alchemex up for the next film. You know, like they could keep Cletus Cassidy in Ravencroft comatose and put his suit with Alchemex, and then that sets that up. I don't know. Just throwing ideas out there. Hey, Siike, what happened to that awesome Carnage art that you did? It's almost done. Like I finished the pencils, but I haven't sent it to my friend PEEJAY yet. He's gonna do he's gonna want the one who's gonna do colors and inks on it. But his schedule got busy, and the last time I checked with him, he said, yeah, you can send it when you want, and I'll get to it when I can. But I'm like, you know what? I'll just wait till he has some free time. But now that the pencils, like I'm 100% happy with them, I think I will touch base with him this month at some point and see if he's still willing to do it, and how much it'll cost. So yeah, I'm working on it. I have another drawing I was doing too, that I need to finish. So if I can finish both at the same time and send it to him, maybe we can get a twofer in there. Siike is my favorite drug. Oh, please don't say that. I am like a cocktail of all kind of drugs and amount of medicine I've taken over the years. So I'm very much an anti-Venom or slash Venom, like you never know. Yep, sir, agreed. I have listened to some rumors about anti-Venom. I mean, yeah, but I don't really address rumors. I mean, we'll do rumors on the live shows, as they pop up, but I pay no attention to rumors. I'll, you know what? Let me read this last comment, and then we'll get on the phone if you're wondering. Oh, gotcha. No problem. Fact number 46: Arthur was baiting. Oh, when someone from Murray Franklin's show was calling him the Joker movie. More reasons for R rating. Okay. On the phone if you're wondering. I wasn't wondering that at all, but thank you. No worries, Siike, definitely no rush. It's beautiful work. Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, I'm hoping it'll be beautiful when PJ finishes with it, that's for sure. I'd like to see Mr. Negative as well. While a Spider-Man villain, in my opinion, I think he had a better connection with Eddie. Yeah, he seems to further Eddie's story. Just, I mean, in Peter's world, he just gave Aunt May a place to work. You could do that without him. You could have Aunt May work at the shelter without him. He actually changes Eddie's life. So yeah, I would like to see him as an Eddie Brock villain. Actually, that's what they should do in the comics. They should have brought Mr. Negative in at some point for that. But yeah. So what was it that you asked? Rumors. So rumors, I can't pay a lot of attention to rumors. So rumors in movies and stuff, like, I didn't mention this on my other video, but the last video we made, it was about rumors and things like that, getting out there. For me, I don't really pay attention to that stuff because I know where rumors come from sometimes. So picture where you work, right? Let's say you work at, like, wherever, like you work at a clothing store or something. There is definitely employees at that clothing store that don't give as much to the job as maybe you do. Or maybe you don't give as much a job as other people do. Maybe you're one of those, one of that type. But either way, like, everyone obviously sometimes tries their best, but there are people at jobs that are just complacent. They know the bare minimum and they just do the bare minimum. That's how it is in movies too. Most people, they don't try to learn the job. They don't try to get better at it. They don't try to improve in any way. That's how movie people are as well. But on top of that, they still act like they know everything, even though they know nothing. So there are people that are executives that sit down and make these big decisions, like, oh, we'll do this with Spider-Man, or we'll do that with Venom, or we'll do this, that have no idea what the hell they're talking about. And that's very apparent with some of the Warner Brothers products that have come out. There's so many people arguing over these details, and they just, to me, they get so many things wrong. But even if they're like, okay, you're doing a new take on a character, that's fine. But even their new takes are like so far removed sometimes from the characters that I can't get into them. And it seems like the masses don't either, because that reflects in numbers and views and stuff on their shows and movies. So like the CW shows, those are pretty good departures from most of those characters. But because they're, aimed at like a teen crowd, and a young adult crowd, it works. It hits that demographic fine, and it works. So if you're going to do a new take, just make sure you know who your target audience is, and hit that target, and get 100% there. And that's what some of those shows do. We may not like them, but that's what those shows accomplish. But still, you have people behind the scenes that make awful decisions, and then you have people that work at studios that are trying to make a name for themselves. They're trying to make connections. They're trying to network. And so they'll reach out, and they'll be told to work with influencers on YouTube or certain websites that aren't as big as the main ones, to try to build their name, reputation, and they'll leak stuff. Sometimes intentionally, and sometimes they'll just say stuff in conversation, go, don't tell anyone this. And then those YouTubers and other people will still go tell them. There's a weird web that gets where information comes from. Most of the time it's intentional. They want that information to get out there because now they use the internet as like a focus group, and they see how people react to it. But then they'll immediately bash those people when the movie comes out and they do something different, and they go, well, those people don't, those are just toxic fans. And it's like, but you created that by leaking these rumors that made us think this way, and then you went this way. So people are mad because you made them mad intentionally. That's how a lot of that stuff happens. And then they hope that argument will still turn into profit for them, because as long as people are talking about it and yelling about it, that it's trending on social media, it's doing what it needs to do, and it's free marketing for the movie, or the comic or whatever. So yeah, people, we're all getting programmed. Like, people press our buttons, and it's not even that they're smart to do it. They just found a way that works, and they just keep doing it until people catch on, and then they'll find another way to make it work. So to me, that's why I don't get into these arguments, these big debates and stuff, because I'm like, no one's gonna tell me when I should be angry at stuff. No one's gonna program me and make me think something that I probably shouldn't even be thinking. I'm not gonna let other people connect dots for me. And so that's what these rumors and leaks do. So you'll come in and go, hey, I heard this leak about, Spider-Man 2099 is going to be in Venom 2. And it's like, I don't care that you heard that. Like, I don't. And I'm not going to make a whole video on it. Like, because we're live and you're asking me, I'll read your comment and discuss it. But I'm not going to put any thought into that. And I'm not going to go on Twitter going, guess what I heard? And then someone will go, well, the Venom vlog said this. And, I trust him as a source. I'm not going to, I try really hard not to put fake information out there. I'd rather people know that when I make a video on something, I did as much research as I could on it, and I did my best. And if it's wrong, we'll delete the video, or I'll make a video apologizing for it, whatever. So, hey, Tavia, what's up? How's it going? I agree he would be a way better Venom villain. I think so. I mean, Venom needs a rogues gallery build up, and unfortunately, all we got with so far is we got Jack-o'-lantern, which I'm like, good, keep him around. He's fine, from the Agent Venom run, and then. And this one, but Donny Cates' first thing he did was have Venom take down Jack-o'-lantern, and I'm like, oh, so that's why I was glad Cullen Bunn brought that back in his War of the Realms books, because I'm like, yeah, it's a rogues guy. Like Scorpion should be in the rogues gallery for Venom. Mr. Negative, he would be a good one too. My day is good, man. How are you doing? I do have to end in like 5 minutes because I have to leave for work soon after. But I just wanted to come in and do this real quick. And then the last topic I want to talk about. Anyway, so that's news. So think about your job and think about people there who get stuff wrong. So they'll tell a customer something. They're like, oh yeah, we're out of those shirts, but there's more in the back. They're just lazy. That's how there's people like that in movies too, and there's people like that in comics. There are people that act like they know what they're talking about, and they sound so confident with it, like it's a fact, but it's not a fact at all. And so yeah, just look at your job and then apply that times 10 to movies, and you just have a bunch of idiots, making decisions for movies, and they're all trying to just keep their jobs, but some of them don't even know really what their jobs are. Some of them are just overpaid. You fail upwards in Hollywood. It's like you get one hit on something and you can ride that for the rest of your career. So to me, it's like it's a backwards place. It's not a place where you have to consistently prove yourself. All you got to do is make them money once, and then they kind of, for the most part, will let you keep going. Then there are some cases where that's not true, but for the most part, like you can ride your success for a long time in Hollywood, longer than it should last. You should constantly be proving yourself and bettering yourself, and they don't have that mentality in Hollywood. They say they do, but they don't. It's clear in most of the garbage that comes out in movies, and it's like movies just quality wise just downhill, man. So yeah, so the people behind the scenes that are leaking these informations, or they even, like, what was it, Midnight's Edge, they're like, oh, we have a source at Lucasfilm. So what? Like, that person could be getting stuff wrong. That person could just be acting like they know what they're talking about. That person may be just regurgitating what they heard from someone who works in a department that isn't making decisions for these movies, but might say they are. You don't know where your information comes from, and they not acknowledge that on Midnight's Edge. They'll say, like, oh, so you got to take this with a grain of salt. But it's like every video now of theirs is, well, so take this with a grain of salt. Take this, and it's like, eventually you guys have to give us facts. So stop with. So that's why I unsubscribe to them, because I'm like, if all you guys are if it's just gonna be hearsay every episode, and I got to take it with a grain of salt, like, F you, don't tell me to take shit with a grain of salt. Bring me information, so I can't subscribe to them anymore. They've declined, in my opinion, as far as quality goes, and they probably do have real sources at places, but I'm like, but even then you can't trust. I've had people tell me stuff from Sony for Venom 1, and it turned out to be bullcrap, and thank God I didn't make any videos on them, because I'm just like, and I'm not going to repeat what they are now, because it's what's done is done. But like, yeah, I've had people tell me stuff, they're like, oh yeah, here's some information, and I'm like, I sat on it, and then the movie came out, and I'm like, yeah, that was bullcrap. I mean, maybe it's in a deleted scene or something, or maybe it was the intention at one point, but I don't know. I don't have a copy of the script, so I don't know where the movie started. I don't have a rough cut of the first draft of the movie, or the first cut of the movie, so I don't know if it's true. So it's like, I take everything with a grain of salt, and because that, I don't want to keep repeating that on my videos, like other YouTubers do. It just gets on my nerves, because then I'm just like, well, why am I watching this? I'm just hearing gossip, and I'm not here for gossip. So do your Patreon guide video in future and how to make Patreon from foreign countries, from India. I hope you stay safe and have a good day, Siike. I thank you, Lonely, very much. And we'll be wrapping up here soon. Patreon, yeah, I have to make a video on my Patreon. The first episode's probably going to go up end of day tomorrow. I'm going to record it tonight when I get home from work. So yeah, you'll probably see so I'm going to sound like congested like this, but yeah, you'll probably, if you subscribe to me on Patreon, it's $3 for the regular tier, and you'll get 4 Superman podcasts a month. You'll get one every week. And those I'll just record, the night before I post them. So that way, I have a schedule down. So it looks like right now it's every Thursday is going to be when I post those Superman episodes. Every Thursday, Friday. So, might alternate. And then also I'm thinking about doing movie commentaries. And I might make that a separate tier where you get like 2 commentaries a month, and the donation is $5, and you get all 4 Superman episodes and the 2 commentaries. And then maybe I'll have you guys vote on what movies I do commentaries for. So we'll talk about that later. But right now I'm starting off with just the 4 Superman podcasts, and we'll see if I can handle that weekly schedule first before anything else. So they lie. I mean, everybody lies. This is Hollywood. So yeah, or they lie, or they lie. They deliberately know they're not telling the truth, and they say it anyway like it is truth. It's like, I'm not talking about Midnight's Edge. I'm just saying the reason I can't watch their videos anymore is because every video opens with them saying, this comes from a source that we can't confirm, so take it with a grain of salt. And it's like, okay. After hearing that like for a 3rd time in a row, I was like, unsubscribe. And I'm like, if you guys are just going to be gossip channels, then fine. Like you're grown men who are just sitting around gossiping. That's awesome. There's too much salt. Yeah, there is. So Midnight's special information was wrong. I'm not saying that. Like, Tavia, don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying that. So please don't misconstrued and then go online and say, Siike is calling Midnight's Edge liars. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the reason I unsubscribed to them is because most of their videos now open with, take this with a grain of salt. And that comes across as gossip to me and not information. So I don't want to hear gossip. I want to hear information when it comes to regarding stuff. So like when they did their like retrospective stuff, like on Conan and stuff, I think they did one like a week ago. I watched that because I'm like, oh cool, this is like really interesting information on Conan. I didn't resubscribe to them, but I'm like, all right, it popped up on my feed. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll watch this, and I liked it. But when they talk about like their rumors and all that stuff, like I don't get into that. So yeah, no, I would not put Midnight's Edge and Comic Book Cast 2 on the same. I'm being critical of Midnight's Edge, but they're not the same as Comic Book Cast. Comic Book Cast he's a completely different animal. And I haven't even watched him in a long time. I was subscribed to him at one point because I was like, oh, this is a guy who covers a lot of information. But then as I was watching, I'm like, he's wrong so many times, and it's clear that he has a bias. And I'm like, I can't really watch people that are too biased. Like, if it's like, all right, if you have a Transformer show, okay, clearly you have a bias towards loving Transformer, but I still see those people being critical on stuff. So then I stick around. But he's not critical on the stuff he has a bias towards. So no, Midnight's Edge they're nothing like each other. So that's a bad comparison. How do you take from foreign countries? I don't know. I don't know how Patreon works. I looked into that, and I don't know how that works. So I'm sorry. I'll have to keep looking into that. As far as like donations from other countries, I don't know. I thought it was universal, but then again, that's a privileged mindset to have. So I apologize on that. I'll look into it more tonight when I'm recording my video. I'll look into it more on how to get Patreon, how it works, for subscribing overseas. Seems like everybody's got a trusted source these days. It's why I more or less stopped giving leak and rumor articles any of my attention. What's up, Comic Boys? Exactly. Most people have a trusted source. I have a source inside, this, and I have a source inside this. It's like I've had a couple people reach out to me and talk to me about stuff, and I'm, I don't repeat it. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know who you are. Like I don't know what department you work in. You might say you work in marketing or you work in this or whatever, but I don't know that. Like I have no idea. Maybe I'm an untrusting person or whatever, but I just don't want to look stupid all the time. Like, I mean, I make Venom videos, and I'm, nearing 40. So some people would argue I already look stupid. But still, I want to make sure my information is the best I can make it. And if I just hear something, oh, I work at, Fox, and so here's some information. It's like I knew a lot about the Fox X-Men movies, and I just straight up just I didn't promote them. Like I straight up didn't make any videos on Fox movies. I think I did a trailer reaction to Logan and maybe a review of it or something, but I didn't. Like I did not stick around and do X-Men content because I was too afraid I would say something out of line or say something I shouldn't say, and that's how I am. It's the kind of person I am. So X-Men for like from Days of Future, no, the Wolverine and Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, and Logan. Like I knew a ton about those movies before they came out, like a ton, and Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2. And I seen early cuts of almost all of those movies, and including Dark Phoenix. So like there, it's like yeah, for years I could have just been pumping out X-Men content and making a big deal about all that stuff, but I didn't want to. And I even still I was like, unless I saw it with my own eyes or heard it with my own ears, I still didn't want to feed that machine. So yeah, this is me being stubborn, sure, but this is also me not make I don't want my channel to be like those other channels that I personally have issues with. Some of you guys may not. You may be totally fine with hearing the stuff that everyone else talks about, and that's totally okay. But for me, I got to follow my own rules, like that's why you don't see me drink on stream, because I've always been taught working in TV that that's a bad thing to do. Like you're drinking or eating, people hearing your, gulp, 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 gulp. Like if I'm playing a video game, I might take a sip of stuff from time to time because I'm talking so much. But even these live videos, and I don't want to. I'm sick right now. My throat is dry. Like I need some medicine. I need a sip of NyQuil. I need some water. But my own rules won't let me. So you have to follow your own rules and your own guidelines. And for me is why I can't, support some of these other channels anymore because I just don't want to hear gossip all day. Like I don't care. And even if it is right or turns out to be right, who gives a crap? Like great, pat yourself on the back. Someone told you something and it turned out to be true. Whoop-de-doo. How much work did you put in to be right about something someone told you? You put in zero work. You just repeated what they said. So how is that any kind of win? How does that make you credible? Like to me, it just makes you a parasite in a lot of ways, and I don't want to be a part of that. He is biased towards Marvel movies. Oh, a comic book cast guy, yeah, but who cares? I mean, that's the other thing is like, who cares? Let him be. Like, I see like other people like call him out on it, and I'm just like, I've been there where I'm like, I've had interactions with him before. Remember, he blocked me on Twitter because I called him out for something, and he said something was a mess, and I'm like, yeah, but well, wasn't this a mess? And then he was like, he got all mad. He didn't have a defense because he's dumb. So he, blocked me, and I'm just like, all right, well, you don't want to have a conversation. That's fine. I think someone called him a name too, which that was also, I was like, hey guys, no, 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 like calm down. Like you don't have to attack the guy. Just talk to him. Like bring up a point and he'll block you anyway. So it doesn't matter. Now, a question I'm wondering is, what did you think of atop the source wall? Sometimes you need accurate information. What's atop the source wall? Yeah, you need. I mean, but you don't know. You can't ever tell when you get accurate information because everything's hearsay. Yeah, trust me, I deal with that at work. Like I'm a supervisor at work, and I have to discern hearsay, from fact. People come to you with stuff, and you got to be able to know. And if someone comes to you and says, "Hey, so and so told me this, and I think it's a problem," it's like, okay, well then I should be hearing that from so and so. Otherwise, it's hearsay. So you need to go tell so and so to come talk to me directly. And that way we can get to the bottom of this, so I can get a firsthand account of something. And I don't know. I feel like people don't look for firsthand accounts anymore. They're just so excited to get information that they can pump out a second or third video for the day because they're like, oh, I talked to my person at Lucasfilm, so I can now do this video and I can do this video. And their quality of their videos, it's just like still images, that kind of float by, and it's like, yeah, not that my videos are that great, it's just me talking to the camera, but at least I try to edit in stuff or visual stuff, and I try to get creative with something, creative as much as I can. Like I don't know a lot about editing, so I do the best I can. Like I'm not, whereas Barry, who does great stuff editing wise, his channel is so quick and awesome with sound effects and all these great things, and I could probably get there one day. It's just going to take a lot. I have to learn a lot of stuff, whereas he knows that kind of stuff, because he's has that post-production background and information, but he also learned stuff too along the way to grow his show. So yeah, I wish I had that ability, and maybe one day I will, but for now I try my best. But even the quality of videos, I'm just like, whatever, like, I don't, it's taken me a while, but now we can do live streams. So I feel like, all right, I'm still evolving as a channel. I've been doing YouTube for a couple of years now, but it's like, great. We're doing live streams. I'm hoping every like 6 months to a year, we can add something new to it. I can slowly build to being, you know, a better quality channel, you know, to where my people aren't just coming for information, but they're also coming hopefully for quality. You know, the look of it, you know, I can't do it now, but I'm working on it. And I think it like Film Junkie, I love, he just puts his phone and films his screen on his, you know, on his computer, and then cuts back to him, like, you know, so he does some editing things there, but he doesn't like screen grab or record from his phone or anything like that, you know. So but that doesn't matter because his videos are fun and they're short and he has a style to them. So it's like me, I think I'm still trying to develop a style. Dude, go get some water. I will. Atop the fourth wall, my apologies. That's okay. And my Wi-Fi is currently out at the moment. Same here. Editing is difficult. It is, right? You know, like, I mean, I like your videos too because you just sit and talk to people head on, and it's like, yeah, there is. But I like structure too. Like I like to, you know, like that's what I'm trying to think of for my Superman show. Even though it's kind of last minute, I got to record my episode tonight, but I'm still thinking of structure. I'm like, all right, I need a segment. I need a Superman segment here. I need something here. I need an intro. I think in terms of TV because I've worked in TV for so long. So I think my brain just can't help it. And so I follow these rules that typically you would follow on TV when you're working on TV. So although you don't see it nowadays, I've seen people on TV now drink sips of water, and I'm like, no, like, or people when they do these, like, you know, like these YouTubers when they have like a round table and it's like four of them lined up and they all sit around, they're all sitting there, they have like their waters or their coffees and they're like Collider and stuff and they're drinking. I'm like, it's so unprofessional. Like for me, like I'm just like, oh God, it's so unprofessional. You guys have an actual set. Like I'm recording in my room, in my bedroom, and no less. Like my bed is right behind me. Like that's how, you know, financially struggling I am. Is that I've never, ever since I've been on YouTube, I've never had a separate room to film in. It's always been the room I sleep in because that's the only room I ever have. I either am in a studio apartment or I'm in a one bedroom where I don't have stuff out in the living room. So for me, it's like, you know, I get mad because I'm like, you have all these resources and yet you're lazy. Like, and that's what it is. Like, you know, Collider, a lot of those guys, the egos on some of those people is outstanding. Like, I just saw the other day, it popped up in my feed, so I watched it. Was Red Letter Media reacting to Christian Harloff complaining that he didn't get invited to the Star Wars thing, and I'm just like, God, the level of entitlement. Like, you know, we make a Star Wars show and it gets this many views. It's like, yeah, but to someone at the studio who invites people, they invited two people from Collider, like these two girls, and they invited them, and it's like, yeah, so they invited them, they invited you guys, and you know, they internally know, hey, that's a different show, those girls don't work for our show. It's like, well, then bring those girls onto your show. It's such a simple solution. Christian, you as a producer of the show, you should just been like, all right, so Haley and whatever her name was, like those two girls, they got to full hand experience. So okay, you don't want to report on other people's stuff, great, then be like, hey, let's give Haley a shot. Let's bring her on, you know, Collider Jedi Council, and let's, you know, instead of being a bitch about it, why don't you look at the opportunity as a leader at that company and give someone a chance to, like, you know, shine and be like, and take the focus off you for 1 second. But of course they can't because they're all ego over there and they think everything they say is like, you know, like I saw, what was it? Stephen Weintraub the other day posted that he wishes. Now, and maybe I agree with this on some level, but he wished that Chris Terrio would stop talking. And it's like, dude, Chris Terrio is a human being. Yeah, I think he writes garbage movies. I think that one movie he made with Ben Affleck was pretty good, but Batman vs Superman, you know, I don't think that movie is a good movie at all. He wrote Rise of the Skywalker, and I don't think that movie's good at all. But there's other elements at play than just the script, right? Like, for all I know, the script was solid. I have no idea. But either way, he's still a human being. So for this little YouTuber guy to come out and go, stop talking, you're making me hate your movie more. It's like, okay, dude, you can think that and feel that, but to come out online when you have a big following and you're a leader at a company and you get all these exclusive interviews, to say that is so unprofessional and shitty. It's like, it's unbelievable. So these people, I can't deal with them. Like, you know, I'm not going to make videos, like 4 videos a month, you slamming them like some other YouTubers do, because at that point you're just like, that's unhealthy too. It's like, just let them do their thing. But to vent about it here, I'm just like, yeah, I'm venting about it. We're talking about other topics. I tied it in. But yeah, that's like, these people they suck, and they act like they know everything. So when you try to challenge them on something, they come at you like, so yeah, it's just like they all suck, man. People are terrible. Just do your best. That's all I can say. That's my only advice for 2020 is just keep doing your best. You know, find your standards and try to hit your standards every time. That's the only advice I can give. And so when I like, and that's for me too. Like there are some things I feel like I don't hit my standards some days, so I got to work on that. There are things I struggle with. There's things I'm not good at. There's things I'm ignorant about. I'm trying. I'm really trying to not be like that, and to grow. That's the thing, is I always say, never stop being a student. If you're the master of everything, what's the point of going on? Like, what's the point? That's why when people write Batman, he's just like the Mr. Know-it-all. I'm like, I hate that. It's uninteresting. Batman should keep growing as a character. He's 80 years old, sure, but so if you're going to write a story where he knows everything, make that your one and done story, but show the flaws in knowing everything, right? Make that part of the story. But these writers, these people who work in movies, everyone fakes like they know what they're doing, and they don't, and they never admit that they don't know what they're doing. They double down when you call them out. You're like, hey, this didn't really work narratively. Yeah, it's just my opinion, but have you thought about doing something else? And they're just like, shut up, block, whatever. Like, how dare you come at me with stuff? It's like, just take a breath. Yeah, I know it's personal because you put your heart and soul into something, and people don't like it, or someone doesn't like it, but understand, that person is just one person, and they don't speak for everyone. Sales are ultimately what matter. Follow that, but still hear criticism. Listen to criticism if you can. People are jerks these days, which is why I'm always trying my best and collaborate with friends and other YouTubers. Yeah, I saw you were on Thinking Critical. So yeah, I listened to episodes. That was very good. I was glad to see you on there, or hear you on there. But anyway, it is really late now. I was supposed to end like 15 minutes ago, so I got to go to work. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for letting me do another live episode. I was going to talk about some Funko Pops, some Venom Funko Pops. They're doing Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, Miles Morales, and Groot. These are all from the new Maximum Venom cartoon coming out. So if you go to Original Funko Pop on Instagram, or if you go to my Twitter too, I post them on mine, but go to Funko Pop, give them the clicks. They posted a picture today. You can scroll through and see all of them. There's a Punisher version of Venom, or Venom version of Punisher, Venom Green Goblin, Venom Ultron. There's some keychains coming out, a 10-inch Groot Super Pop. And then there's all the minis that are coming out. There's one that has like Deadpool eating a taco, or Venompool eating a taco, which is pretty cool. So yeah, and there's like little versions of all the previous line, and then like the new line that they're coming out with, like all the new characters. So yeah, go give those. There's some glow in the dark ones too. So go give Funko Pop some love. I posted the pictures, but also they have them on their Instagram. There's 4 images. You can scroll through them and check them all out. Everyone else, thank you for being here today. Stay safe. You too. Have a good new year. Again, try to purge some of that negativity. Find your own standards. That's the only advice I can give. Find your standards, figure them out, try to figure out where your limits are in certain areas, conversations, things like that. And try to just stay within your boundaries. People get, that's the thing that tore us apart last year and the year before. And everyone acts like this, oh, we crossed a new year, it's a new chance. Like, I don't believe that. Every day is a new chance to do something different or change. But people like to, people who went a whole year without changing, now they're like, all right, this is the day, January 1st, now I can change. And it's like, no, if you have that mentality, you're not going to change. You're not going to do anything better. So just, who cares about the date? Just starting today, figure out your morals, your everything, challenge yourself on stuff, talk to somebody who challenges you, who doesn't agree with you, and try to find a way to coexist with each other. That is the only thing that's going to get us through this next year. The more we tear each other apart, like we cannot go through another year of just hating each other. We got to do something better. We got to try something different. So do your best to do that. That's the only advice I have. Damn straight, every day is a new opportunity, for sure. Comic Boys, Rohit, Tavia, Swordsman, bye. I hope you feel better. Thank you. I'm already starting to sound a little bit better. I think that NyQuil's kicking in, but I'm going to take a little bit more before I go to work. So hopefully I have a better day there. Angel, everyone who popped in, Lonely Symbiote, I love all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you all in the future. Peace.